Some words and careers. November 2006, Lakers practice facility, 10:34 a.m. Smush Parker makes a mistake during a defensive drill. Nothing catastrophic, just a blown rotation that leaves a shooter open. In most NBA practices, the coach corrects it, the team moves on, nobody thinks twice. But Kobe Bryant isn't most teammates. He's been watching Smush for 18 months now, cataloging every lazy cut, every missed assignment, every moment where talent gets wasted by lack of focus. And this blown rotation isn't an isolated mistake. It's a pattern, a symptom of something deeper that Kobe can't tolerate anymore. So he stops the entire practice, walks directly to center court, looks at Smush Parker in front of the entire team, coaches, and training staff, and says 7 words that will destroy Smush's confidence, shatter his NBA career, and become the most brutal teammate call-out in basketball history. "You're the worst teammate I ever had." Complete silence. Nobody moves. Nobody breathes. Because everyone in that gym knows Kobe isn't exaggerating. He's played with Shaq, with all-stars, with champions and role players, and everything in between. And he just declared publicly that Smush Parker, a backup point guard averaging 11 points per game, is the absolute worst. What happens over the next 3 years proves that some players respond to pressure by elevating. Others crumble completely. And Smush Parker was about to crumble in a way the NBA had never seen. November 2006, Los Angeles Lakers. The team is struggling, sitting below .500, trying to figure out how to build around Kobe after years of post-Shaq chaos. The roster is unbalanced, young players mixed with veterans, nobody quite fitting together, and at point guard stands Smush Parker. 25 years old, undrafted, bounced around the league for 3 years before landing with the Lakers in 2005, suddenly getting real minutes because the Lakers don't have better options. On paper, Smush has some skills. Quick, can score in bunches, athletic enough to get to the rim. But there's something missing that stats don't capture. Basketball IQ, focus, the ability to make the right play when it matters. Consistency. Kobe has been patient for a year and a half, waiting for Smush to develop, to learn, to grow into the role. But patience has limits. And by November 2006, after watching Smush make the same mistakes repeatedly, after watching him take bad shots in crucial moments, after watching defensive breakdowns that cost games, Kobe's patience is gone. The problem isn't talent. It's effort. It's focus. It's the refusal to learn from mistakes. And Kobe Bryant doesn't accept that from teammates. Ever. November 14th, 2006, 10:17 a.m. Practice starts normally. Shooting drills, offensive sets, everything routine. Then they transition to defensive rotations, working on pick-and-roll coverage, switching, helping the helper. Basic NBA defense that every player should execute automatically. The drill runs. Smush is defending the ball handler. Pick comes. Smush goes under the screen instead of fighting over it. His man gets an open 3. Makes it. Phil Jackson stops the play. "Smush, you have to get over that screen. We've been over this." Smush nods. "My bad." They reset. Run it again. Same setup. Smush defending ball handler. Pick comes. This time Smush fights over but doesn't communicate the switch. His teammate doesn't rotate. Wide open layup. Phil stops it again. Communication, Smush. Call the switch. Smush says nothing, just walks back to position. They run a 3rd time. Pick comes. Smush goes under again, doesn't call out, doesn't rotate, leaves his man wide open. The mistake is identical to the first rep. No adjustment. No learning. Just repetition of the same error. That's when Kobe snaps. He's been watching all 3 reps, watching the same mistake happen 3 times in 60 seconds, watching 0 adjustment, 0 accountability. He walks to center court. Doesn't yell. Doesn't need to. Just speaks loud enough for everyone to hear. "Hold up." Everyone stop. The entire practice freezes. All eyes on Kobe. He looks directly at Smush. "You just made the same mistake 3 times in a row. 3 times. How is that possible? How do you not adjust after the first time? After the second?" Smush tries to respond. "I was just..." Kobe cuts him off. "No, don't make excuses. You weren't focused. You weren't locked in. You weren't doing your job. The gym is silent. Uncomfortable. But Kobe isn't finished. I've played with a lot of teammates. Champions. All-stars. Role players. Guys who work their asses off even if they weren't talented. And you know what? He pauses. Lets it hang. You're the worst teammate I ever had. The words hit like a physical blow. Smush's face goes blank, shock registering, unable to process what just happened in front of everyone. Other players look away, don't know where to direct their eyes. Phil Jackson considers intervening, but doesn't, understanding that sometimes these moments need to happen. Kobe continues. It's not about talent. You have enough talent to play in this league. It's about focus, about giving a shit, about learning from mistakes instead of repeating them. I can't trust you on the floor because you don't hold yourself accountable. And if you don't hold yourself accountable, we can't win. So until that changes, you're the worst teammate I've got. Then Kobe walks away, doesn't wait for a response, doesn't soften it, just delivers the truth and moves on. Phil Jackson claps his hands. Let's get back to work. Practice continues. But everything has changed. For the rest of practice, Smush goes through the motions, body present but mind shattered. Every drill feels heavier, every mistake magnified, the weight of public humiliation crushing focus completely. He makes more mistakes in the final hour of practice than he made in the previous week. Mental collapse happening in real time. After practice ends, Smush sits in the locker room alone, staring at the floor, replaying Kobe's words on loop. Worst teammate I ever had. 7 words. Career-ending words. The story doesn't leak immediately, stays contained within the team for a few days, but eventually gets out. A reporter hears whispers, asks around, confirms details. By late November, the story is public. Kobe calls Smush worst teammate ever. The headlines write themselves. Sports talk shows debate whether Kobe went too far, whether public humiliation is acceptable, whether leaders should destroy teammates' confidence like that. But the debate misses the point. This isn't about leadership philosophy. This is about accountability. And Smush Parker's response over the next 3 months proves Kobe was right. December 2006, Smush's performance collapses. His scoring drops from 11 points per game to 8. His shooting percentage falls. His defensive mistakes multiply. The confidence that barely existed before is now completely gone, shattered by 7 words delivered in front of the entire team. Every time he makes a mistake now, he hears Kobe's voice. Worst teammate I ever had. The mental loop becomes inescapable. January 2007. Smush loses his starting position. Gets benched. Minutes drop from 30 per game to 15. The coaches try to rebuild his confidence with encouragement, but it's too late. The damage is permanent. Once Kobe Bryant declares you the worst, the league notices. Opponents notice. Coaches notice. An opportunity disappears. February 2007. Trade deadline approaches. Lakers are shopping Smush actively. Try to move him for anyone, anything. No team wants him. The worst teammate, label attached now. Reputation destroyed, value at 0. He finishes the season averaging career lows across every category, a shell of the player he was just months before. Summer 2007. Lakers don't re-sign Smush. He's a free agent, 26 years old, should be entering his prime. No team offers a contract. He signs with Miami Heat on a minimum deal, backup role. Lasts half a season before getting cut. Joins the Cavaliers. Cut again after 20 games. By 2008, Smush Parker is out of the NBA completely. Career over at 27. Never plays another NBA game. Years later, 2015, Smush does an interview about his career, about what happened with the Lakers, about Kobe's call-out. The interviewer asks directly, "Did Kobe's words destroy your confidence?" Smush pauses, visibly emotional. "Yeah, completely. I was never the same after that practice. Every time I stepped on the floor after that, I heard his voice. Worst teammate I ever had. It broke something in me mentally that I couldn't fix. And looking back, maybe he was right. Maybe I wasn't focused enough. Maybe I didn't take it seriously enough. But the way he said it, in front of everyone, that destroyed me. I wish I could have responded differently. Wish I could have used it as fuel, but I didn't. I crumbled, and my career ended because of it. The interviewer asks if he's spoken to Kobe since. Smush shakes his head. No, never. I don't know if I ever will. Part of me resents him for destroying my confidence publicly like that. But another part understands he was trying to win championships, and I wasn't helping. I just wish there was a different way. In 2016, Kobe is asked about the Smush Parker incident during his retirement tour. A reporter brings it up, asks if he regrets saying it, if he would handle it differently now. Kobe doesn't hesitate. No regrets. I said what needed to be said. Smush was making the same mistakes over and over, not adjusting, not learning, not holding himself accountable. I couldn't win with that, so I told him the truth. If that destroyed his confidence, that tells you his confidence wasn't built on work, it was built on hope. And hope doesn't win championships. Accountability does. I needed teammates who could handle the truth and respond. Smush couldn't. That's not my fault. The reporter pushes back. But don't you think public humiliation was too far? Kobe looks directly at the camera. It wasn't humiliation. It was accountability. If you can't handle being called out for repeated mistakes, you can't handle championship pressure. The NBA isn't a safe space. It's competition at the highest level. And if you're not ready for that, you don't belong. Smush wasn't ready. I told him that. The league confirmed it 2 years later when nobody wanted him. I didn't end his career. His response to accountability did. The truth sits somewhere between both perspectives. Kobe's standards were championship level, non-negotiable, brutally honest. Smush's mental makeup couldn't handle that level of accountability delivered publicly. Some players respond to tough love by elevating. Lamar Odom heard championship or nothing and won 2 rings. Smush Parker heard worst teammate I ever had and crumbled completely. The difference wasn't the message. It was the response. November 2006, 10:34 a.m. Kobe Bryant says 7 words that end Smush Parker's NBA career. Not immediately. Not that day. But the trajectory changes instantly. Confidence shatters. Performance collapses. League loses interest. By 2008, Smush is gone. Out of the NBA at 27, potential wasted, career destroyed, not by lack of talent, but by inability to handle the truth delivered without mercy. This isn't a story about leadership being kind. It's a story about standards being non-negotiable, about accountability being public when mistakes are repeated, about the reality that some players can handle Kobe Bryant's intensity and some can't. Smush couldn't. And the worst part is, Kobe was right. Smush Parker was making mistakes that cost games, wasn't adjusting, wasn't learning. The call-out was harsh, but it was accurate. And accuracy delivered brutally is still accuracy. If you want the real stories behind basketball's most brutal moments, the call-outs that ended careers, the accountability that separated champions from cautionary tales, subscribe to The Real Game. We break down the moments where standards crushed those who couldn't meet them. New stories every week. This is where truth is told without apology.